I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sign up if you'd like to talk. We do have other announcements. We have a guest with us tonight who would like to speak with the board. He is a candidate for one of the OSBA positions. And so, Satya, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, directors and superintendent. My name is Satya Chandragiri. I'm a Salem Kaiser School Board Director. I'm also a candidate for the OSBA board position representing our Marion region. You as a member board will be able to vote for me. I seek your support for my candidacy. I sent you some documents as a way to give you some background. As we all know, we are facing challenging times, need a board that advocates for our schools courageously, and we need a very strong OSBA board with them. We can't continue the status quo. So just a little bit of background of mine. In 2018, our county experienced nearly 20 completed youth suicide. I'm a psychiatrist by profession. I've been serving our state for 25 years. This prompted me to run for school board elections. And since then, I have been serving since 2019 as the longest serving board member in my board. 2020-21, I was the chair of the board and we faced a lot of challenges everybody faced. I believe we need high academic performance and children. That's the only way our children will have a chance at the American dream and become responsible citizens. It benefits our children and our nation. You know, with my experience and expertise in my field, I believe I'll be able to represent our Marion region effectively. I do have a track record of serving our state through challenging times. In the 25 years of my professional experience, I served as a psychiatrist in both Eastern Oregon rural areas all the way to Douglas County. So I have both urban rural experience. In 2019, I sponsored and successfully passed the suicide prevention policy. We were the first school district in our state to have one such policy. For example, I also sponsored and successfully got to pass a dual language expansion policy in our school district. Now we have close to 37 schools with a dual language, English, Spanish as a thing, because we have a large immigrant community. We have about 130 languages spoken among our children. You know, so I have some experience dealing with tough times, challenging financial situation. As you know, as a school district, we had to make some significant changes in our personnel in order to close a huge budget gap. I believe the time has come where we need a very strong and effective OSBA board that really advocates for a sustainable funding model that is aligned to actual costing. You must have seen in Oregonian a report based on Salem Kaiser's finding how the model that we have been using in our state has been undercounting a lot of children under poverty. So these are the things that require a board that really is willing to unpack and advocate, as continuing the status quo is going to be very difficult and unsustainable, not only for large districts, but also small districts. So some of the small districts, the undercount has been significant, but that means the weight, you know, that extra weightage that of funding that schools gets hampered. Likewise, we have children with disabilities. They have been there's a cap for a long time, which disproportionately hurts a lot of our school district as we have much larger than the cap. So these are some reasons that I believe I'll be in a effective position to advocate, and it needs to be advocated. We cannot continue to rely on the current model of continuing the budget and struggling at every year. So in addition, I've worked with different stakeholders, for example. So I've just included all that in my little written submission. So I seek your support as a member board. You are able to vote, and there's a deadline by December 15th. Your vote has to be turned in to the OSBA. So I'm open to answering any questions you may have, and I believe I will be effective in the last 2 years of my term in serving our Marion region and also using my experience of nearly 40 years having served in 3 countries. As a psychiatrist, I've seen diverse populations. I'm an immigrant parent. Both my children are adults. They work in New York State and DC. So we feel it's been a blessing and a wonderful opportunity in this country. We want to see our children have the best possible opportunity so that they have a fighting chance. So thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, directors and superintendent, for allowing me to testify. And I'm happy to answer any questions that will help you in your decision.
I don't think we have any questions at this time, but thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, today is your day to vote, so I seek your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next you have approval of your minutes.
Anybody have anything?
I didn't see anything.
All right.
Did anybody else? Okay. Then I move that the Jervis District Number 1 Board of Directors approves the October 16th, 2025 regular and executive session minutes and the November 6th, 2025 special and executive session minutes.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. We're down to reports.
Student council.
Woohoo!
Take a deep breath.
You got this. Take that chair. Perfect.
Listen to you.
Yes, yes. I like that.
Okay. So first we have the athletics. In football, as you guys have heard, we made it to the semifinals. So they're in their 3rd round of playoffs. This week they're scheduled to play against Cascade Christian, which is in Cottage Grove High School, and the game's gonna start at 4:30. And there will be a router bus for students who want to go. And they will depart at 2 p.m. and the game begins at 4 p.m. Yep. For basketball, their season is just starting, and their girls have a game next week, and they've been practicing every day from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Their first practice was this Monday, and we've talked to some of the players who seem very enthusiastic about their season, and they hope that they will make it to playoffs. The boys basketball is also doing very well. They're going to practicing and are training for their upcoming game, which is on Wednesday, December 3rd, and it's going to be a home game, so you guys are welcome to come. Their practices are every day from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m., and their goal this season is to do better than last year. The wrestling season has started. Players had their first practice this Monday. They have practice every day, Monday to Friday, from 3:30 to 6 p.m., and their goal is to make it to state. That's it for sports.
Thanks.
For clubs, we have FFA. FFA has been having a hazelnut platter sale throughout the month of November. Every member competing for the first place prizes, which is the entire state convention, paid off. This competition ends today at 3, or it ended today at 3:30 p.m. with their meeting after school. They also had the agriculture sales competition hosted at the Silverton High School on the 14th of this month. This was the first competition. The result was astonishing. We got second place in the beginning agriculture sales.
NHS had a blood drive, which was a huge success. We have an all-time record for the most donations in the history of NHS at Jervis with 33 donations.
Wow.
People are expecting to receive their $20 e-gift card through their Gmails, and we are also preparing for a winter competition experience, which is expected to happen mid-December. We are also getting our NHS flag, so we will be rocking those in the month of December as well. The Ink League just finished producing their second newspaper of the year, the November edition. This edition is expected to be published tomorrow morning, and media presence for the yearbook and journalism are in the works. This will include things about their news articles and everything about their clubs in general. They also got a second place prize for the smallest school in Oregon, and for their broadsheet newspapers. Some members got honorable mentions, such as Aquilina for her letters, Zach Well and Daniela for photography and excellence awards in photography.
The yearbook. The yearbook has extended the senior portrait deadline from November 21st to December 1st. They have their first major spread deadline tomorrow and are working on editing photos in the yearbook pages. They're currently working on finishing cross country.
As for Aguilar de Oro, we are preparing for a school winter arts night with the middle school. And there's practices going on every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:10 to 4:30. And we just had our tamale sale, which was a huge success. We got around 30 orders and very great reviews.
On our college and career, on Tuesday, the college and career held a finding funds night for students applying for FAFSA and scholarships. The presentation was given in English and Spanish for all students and parents, juniors and seniors. Also on Tuesday, they hosted a welding field trip for students who are interested in pursuing a career in welding. Corban University came today during advisory to give a presentation about their college. They also had a carpentry field trip today for people interested in the trade field. Tomorrow they have a senior VIP day for seniors applying for college, finishing their Common App and finding scholarship. It's in full tank.
And then evening school is going great. Many students are taking advantage of this program and are catching up on their classes. We also had a canned food drive at school. This was also another booming success. This went on from the November 3rd to the 17th, and we had each class competing against each other for like spirit points. And this was all donated to the local food bank of Sacred Heart Church. This was donated yesterday, and the freshmen won. by a landslide. And tomorrow we have a Student of the Month assembly during advisory, and then Thanksgiving break. That's our report.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Guys. Thank you guys.
Have a good break.
Yes.
Yes. Is anybody going to like Friday shopping? Is that a sign that you are?
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I thought I saw him here.
Okay, yeah.
Kansas State Clifford.
Well, thank you for being here. As we begin a week of gratitude and Thanksgiving, I guess very fitting to first say thank you. We have an amazing school board, and just the time that you volunteer, the energy and effort with which you support our schools. Thank you very much. Dandy, thank you. You're fierce and visionary. Lead with a lot of compassion on a personal level. You've been an incredible mentor and friend. Really appreciate you. And there's a small army behind you, Sandra, Karen, amongst them. Our office staff is just absolutely amazing. And so just feel very incredibly blessed. We, again, are trying to focus all of our energy and effort on priorities that align with the core values from our strategic plan. And really, like, I think the key word underlined here is the each. We really want to serve our students academically. We want to support their families. We want to create environments where there's a sense of belonging and community for each student and each family. So just going to share a few highlights and then just talk kind of overall. So the attribute of the month was excellence. And the message was excellence is not perfection. In fact, there's lots of mistakes, but excellence is just giving your best. And so just really encouraging kids to give their best effort. And we had a student recognition assembly, a lot of parents coming in that were being recognized for excellence in and out of the classroom. And again, I think it's just a really fitting attribute. That same day, we wrapped up our iReady reading competition, and it gets really, really intense. It's a K-5 competition, and each iReady monster, Snarg, Yoop, and Flory, they're competing, and this is the winning kids who got popcorn and an extra recess at the end. And we were drawing names and giving away free books. It just, I mean, the kids are working incredibly hard in and out of the classroom. Just a phenomenal group of kids that we're working with. Some really exciting things. Oregon State University hosts 7,500 students every year on campus for a free women's basketball game. My brother happens to be the associate professor of the College of Engineering, and so we hooked up with Dr. David, and we did tours of the engineering labs, the robotic labs. We got into college classrooms. Before getting over the women's basketball game, we had 3rd and 5th graders going. We had no less than 40 parents going, chaperones. And it's really amazing. The first time these kids are on a college campus, learning that engineering is just using math and science to solve problems, and to really to realize that what they're learning in school, it really matters. Because when you're seeing the race cars, the rockets, the robotics, the kids realize this is really exciting stuff. And so they realize the stuff they're doing at school, it really does matter. But that's just a really awesome experience. And I love how many families, we just keep adding buses because we'll never say no to a parent. Because it's so much bigger than chaperones. It's them connecting with the school in really meaningful ways. We reimagined Student Leadership Club, and Julie Schnell, our counselor, deserves all the credit for this, and it's amazing. We had students apply, recommended by their teachers, and they're really, I think, centered on servant leadership, which I think is really powerful. So them working in the garden, they put it on Student Recognition Assembly on Friday, and they did a wonderful job. It was organized chaos, but in a beautiful way. So they were the ones recognizing students for excellence. This is a giant game of human foosball that they helped organize. It just was a blast. But for these kids to really kind of take ownership of the school, but in a serving mindset is really powerful. We also have our school committees that are in full swing, and I think this is the first year where it has been absolutely amazing. Every committee is hitting on full cylinders. The activities committee owned the literacy night this year, and it was awesome. Mike Jensen from the Woodburn Public Library was there. Leslie Garcia from the Early Learning Hub was there with lots of books to give away, lots of resources. The committee put on a whole bunch of different activities. There's all Dr. Seuss theme, but again, just the real push is for kids to be reading in their home and empowering and teaching parents how to support that early literacy in the home. Some other partnerships. Woodburn Fire came out to talk a lot about fire safety with our kids. I had to laugh because they showed up without a fire truck. And Omar here, he's the new fire marshal, and I looked at him. He says, "Were you expecting a fire truck?" And he dashed, and he sprinted to the new Gervais station and came back with a fire truck, and it was awesome. And so, but so grateful that we have partnerships like that. Oregon Humane Society as well coming in, talking about pets with one of our classes. But just love these kind of partnerships that we're making out into the community. And talked about it before. The student leadership we just left. Agnes de Oro came down to the elementary school. They've been doing this for several years now, right before Dia de los Muertos, and they do a beautiful assembly. They're roping, they're singing, they're dancing, playing games. It really is so beautiful to see these high school kids coming back, and these elementary school kids who idolize and want to be part of this when they get to the high school. So super appreciated them coming down for that. We are not doing any district funded after school clubs, which I think is in part for funding, part of it's for our teacher sanity, part of it's because of the projects that are going to be happening in the building. But we have kept the Active Children Portland Partnership, and this is we're the only school outside of the metro area, the first ones to partner with, and we're the only ones that get it for free. They charge everybody else. And so we're able to offer a soccer and STEM after school club, and it's awesome. We've been able to hire Adelita from staff, one of our mothers, a college student as our coaches. It's been really great for the kids to be able to have this. And we're looking to expand getting some additional grant funding to expand this program in Jervis. We also have a really amazing partnership with OHSU. And we do these health screenings, and that's not the right word. It really is like it's a fair. And they bring in, I think, 40 nurses, nursing students into our lower gym, and they have all sorts of different stations teaching these kids, interacting with them. It's just absolutely incredible, but just feel so blessed. Our district nurse, Courtney Utters, is amazing. And this partnership we have is incredible. In addition to them, we've had Capital Dental on, we've had Rotary, we've had lots of partnerships doing a lot of different health screenings, dental screenings, which just, again, for a lot of our kids, that's the only time they're going to access that kind of care is within our own buildings. We're so grateful to have that partnership. But when I think about like the magic of what's happening, it's not the events and the activities, though as fun as that is, just to share like at every level the things that are happening. We have the leadership in the school is making home visits, a lot of them. And we show up at kids' doors when they're not at school. We have hard conversations with parents with a lot of compassion. We get those kids to school. We have classroom teachers who have aligned their instruction with the curriculum in really powerful ways. They're going through this really rich and meaningful PLC Plus model, and you're seeing levels of student engagement that's really inspiring in the classroom. We have specialists that are really identifying student data, the kids that need support, and are providing one-on-one and small group support at their level in just a way that's going to really move the needle. We have just an absolutely amazing counseling behavior support team that are literally and figuratively wrapping their arms around the kids that are struggling. And there's a calm in the school that I don't know if I've seen in 4 years because like the supports are working. And it's just absolutely incredible. These kids are now staying in the classroom, they're engaging with instruction in ways that they previously couldn't have. And then just we have an army of IAs who are, I think, the backbone of the school. And so when these kids get to school, they're smiling faces, greeting them by name, hugs and high fives throughout the whole building. I just think there's a lot of academic, amazing stuff that's happening. And it's also like, it's a great community and it's a ton of fun. Just a quick little shout out on the right-hand side, that's Miss Stein's 5th grade class. She's amazing. Her class is so dialed in, working so hard. This was a Fear Factor day, and they had these really hard math problems they had to solve in order to get to the Fear Factor. I had to laugh because I went in and there was a box full of brains. And so I stuck my hand in and pulled out my hand covered in brains and I licked it in front of the whole class. And then they all went like, we all put our hand in there already. And they were convinced I was gonna be sick the next day, but no. And then, this is Miss Seeley. We just have, I think, some teachers that are just absolutely amazing, who bring a lot of energy, a lot of life, a lot of excitement to learning. And so just some pretty incredible work happening. Every year we pick a kind of a mantra for the school that we put on our shirts. This one, flying higher together. And intentionally looking at the B's, you'll notice that not all the B's are always feeling the greatest, the best, because there's moments when we're not. And to acknowledge that, right? But that's one of those moments when we have phenomenal students and teachers and other leaders who are going to buoy up and lift up the school community. And so, again, just some pretty amazing things that are happening academically, with social emotional learning, with activities, family engagement. I think it's a pretty amazing thing that's happening because there's a whole army of people there who just are really loving on these kids. So, thanks for letting us share that with you.
Thank you.
Always good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
On to the middle school. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. So when he calms down, you can take him out.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Not that we're counting, but one more day. So, all right, the middle school. I don't even know. Do I just click on it? There we go. Okay. So we have student of the month monthly, which makes sense. So the student of the month for the last one was responsibility, which is a good one to start with towards the beginning of the year. So this is just, I won't read through the names. This is just a list of the students. So each homeroom does a student of the month. And yeah, so that was just done. We have a all school assembly the first Friday of each month. That was student of the month. And then academic ace. Academic ace is every other month. And it's kind of what it sounds like. And there's a lot more of them because each one of the core classes has an academic ace. This could be a student that is straight A's, or it could be a student that maybe isn't straight A's, maybe is a C student, but works really, really hard and likes the class, likes the subject, and just is doing their best. That could also be an academic ace. So you don't have to be a straight A student to get this. For PE, 90% of the PE grade is really based on effort. This is not health. Health has just recently started with 6th grade. So that will be coming. So the PE is very much just, again, they don't have to be the most athletic to get this, but they're out there trying and working really hard. So that was the group also on the same day. This is the staff appreciation that I started doing. That's the pause that they get. So when we have an all school, all staff meeting, any staff member can give another staff member a paw. And oftentimes they write on the back of it the reason for it. And then they get a chocolate bar, a candy bar from me. I've noticed this year we're kind of not doing a lot of them. So I really need to kind of push my staff to say, hey, I know there's a lot of good stuff going out there. Remember to recognize your fellow staff members. So this is Angelica Albee on the left. She's an instructional aide. Amanda Braswell does 6th and 7th grade language arts. On the right is Brandon Jones, who is 7th and 8th grade PE. And then Jessie Zabala is our 6th and 7th grade, 7th and 8th grade history. So this is something new I've tried with attendance, is that I'm picking 2 weeks out of the month and that the student needs to have perfect attendance. I say perfect attendance, but really between you and me, don't 100% mean that. If a student comes in, so for the 2 weeks, so if a student comes in like one class period late and it's excused, that's the key, it's gotta be excused. Well, that tells me they probably had a dentist appointment or something. They could have done it in the middle of the day and then not returned. And kind of the same, if they're missing just the last period, that also tells me, especially in middle school, we have a lot of braces. So there's a lot of orthodontics going on. So if that is what's happening and it is excused, they are considered perfect attendance. And if they are gone for a religious holiday, that does not count against them. So for October, for 2 weeks of perfect attendance, that was October 13th through the 24th, they get a slice of cheese pizza. That was a little more of an expensive one. So the next one was much cheaper. November, we did 2 weeks of perfect attendance from November 3rd to the 14th. It was a sugar cookie. And this month, coming up for December, is apple cider and popcorn. So we have a popcorn machine. So again, that's kind of a really cheap one. And I go through and I check off and I look at them and then we deliver them. So this is through Friday. And then I check with Sasha, who is the secretary in the office. Russian holidays, I want to make sure, are we good for this date? And are we fine? The reason we also did apple cider and popcorn is because both of those, the Lent is starting after Thanksgiving. So I wanted to make sure that all the Russian kids could eat. The popcorn that we use does have, has been approved. So it is fine for all the Russian kids. That will be happening. So that starts December 1st through the first 2 weeks. And then that Monday during homeroom is when the items are delivered.
Tony, why don't you share how many kids you have in the middle school?
So we have, right now, we have 218 students in the middle school. So not too bad. I would like to, slightly going up. I was kind of surprised that the cookies beat out the pizza. I thought the pizza would beat out.
Do they know what the prize is? Like,
They do.
they
In fact, I have it posted right now. I try to post it a week ahead of time. We also are doing an announcements. Hey, the 2 week attendance challenge is on. And we do have kids coming up. In fact, I had a student come up right before I handed cookies out to say, I was gone half a day. Does that count against me? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, it does. So, yeah, I know. Sorry. It was a really good cookie, but no. All right. Uh-oh, now it's coming. All right. So also our, and it sounds like the high school also, we're having really good job with spirit in the middle school. For many years, there has been no spirit. And in fact, 8th graders especially, they're too cool for school and there's no way I'm going to cheer. That is changing this year. So I'm hoping that's going to migrate into the high school. So again, that all school assembly that we do on those Fridays, we do a spirit cheer or a spirit challenge. So in October, it was a spirit cheer. It was a cheer that the leadership class came up with. They gave it to the homeroom so that they could practice ahead of time. I had a flag made, and I literally on my phone, I have a decibel thing so I could hold it up and see. And 7th grade literally won by 1 decibel. And so this is what I love this because it's free. What they win is they get 5 extra minutes of recess. And oh my gosh, that's a game changer. They get to get the balls first. It's like this is big stuff. So, and it's for the whole month. So for the whole rest of the month, for the whole rest of the month of October. So what I would do is I would say, okay, any 7th graders that want to leave or 5 minutes early, you can leave. They don't have to leave. They can stay and eat if they want, or they can get up. And then I also noticed that some will come like a minute or 2 later so that they can finish whatever. November, the leadership tried a spirit competition. It was down to the last couple minutes, and so it was really quick. It was too much of a competition for the students to understand the process. It was kind of like a race of different things they had to do. And the only ones that really followed the instructions and won were the staff. Staff were the winners for November. So no classes are leaving 5 minutes early. Gotta follow instructions, guys. So I brought donuts in for the staff that next Monday as their reward. All right, this is something new I started this year. Dandy and myself and Andrew went to a conference in Eugene. It was a lot about attendance and connecting with kids. And the big thing that they kept saying over and over again was what's going to get those kids to come to school, come to class, is that connection. And for years, Jervis has said, you know, we have connection with kids, and I think we do a great job, but we also have kids that for whatever reason do kind of slip through the cracks. And it could be that really quiet kid that you just kind of miss because they are so quiet. So what I did immediately after we came back from that is I looked at attendance and went through, and at that point I picked, I think there was 19 to 20 that I picked that were struggling with attendance. And then I had a couple staff come to me and say, hey, can we add this student? They're here, but they're really struggling with behavior or grades. And I'm like, yes. So we added them on. I put a little picture on with their name, and I sent it out to staff and said, I want every staff member to pick at least one. And really my instructions to them wasn't be like, why aren't you here? It's more like, I'm so glad you're here. You know, what did you do this weekend? I want that person-to-person contact. Forget about the grades. Forget about the, why aren't you here? Make that connection with them. If you make that connection with them, that's going to be that one person. They're going to be like, oh, yay, I get to come and see Mrs. Johnson. And she cares about me because she's asking about how my day was and what I did. So we have just started doing this. This has been going on for about a month. So it'll be interested to see. I'll kind of watch it and see. I'm hoping that we'll start making some positive changes. Robotics. So this was a new elective that we started this year. This is Mr. Hill is doing robotics. He put in and got some money from Creighton. Creighton helped. So right there, this was just done in the last week. So we were out taking a lot of pictures. So they had races. They had specific criteria they had to follow. They, yes, look like they have wheels, which they do, but the wheels could not turn. They had to be stationary to get them. And there was a line that they had to pass, and they were having a great time with it. That finished today. And I heard several of them going, what's the next thing we're going to do? What's the next thing? So they have to code these. They have to change them, redo the code. Yeah, so very, very cool. This is a new elective that we're having. Outside my window. So this is the last one, and every time I'm here, also every week when I do my weekly letters to the community, I'm just taking pictures literally outside my window. This is what's happening out the window. So the bottom right was the most recent. The top ones, with, I don't even know what these things are called, but the big screw thing and the big, sure. All of that was happening. I mean, literally that big screw was like from me to Dandy. It was like that close. Honestly, it's not bad. When it was really, really close to my wall, it was like an earthquake was happening. It was like, but it wasn't that long. It's now almost becoming like background noise, kind of like white noise, you know, that you don't really even pay that much attention to. The latest picture that I just took that I will be putting in my newsletter is now the ground is very flat. And pretty much all of these big equipment is not there right now. So, but just kind of a weekly, what is happening outside my window type picture. So very exciting. That's life at the middle school.
Yay.
So, all right. Thank you.
I did like to see, I like those numbers of all those kids that are coming out for sports.
Oh,
Exciting.
yes. Yeah. We have 35 wrestlers. 33 wrestlers and not as many girl basketball players. So probably, I don't know, about 15 maybe. But yeah, exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, high school.
It's gonna come give Anna.
I don't have It's not gonna let me play the video.
Oh.
Where's the
How the
video?
video will go.
I forgot to tell you there was a video.
Now what's going on here?
There we go.
All right. Hopefully when you get to that point in time, it'll let you click play.
Maybe. Oh, there's pressure.
Yeah.
I got nervous for a minute. It's not working. Good evening, everybody. Jervis High School board presentation for November. So enrollment and discipline. So enrollment has been steady. We're up 1 student.
Wow.
That's an increase.
That is.
Discipline has primarily been due to truancy and disrespect. We have not had any fights or drug use as so far this school year, which is good. So a lot of the discipline has been minor for the most part. We're utilizing in-school suspension instead of out-of-school suspension almost all the time because we want students in school. And then attendance is increasing. Go ahead, Doug.
We're working on it. We're meeting. We're trying to figure out some of the issues that are happening. Kind of peeling back the onions. There's some deep stories to some of these kids of why they're not here. I know we're partnering with the elementary school. When I get emails from Sarah all the time, like, hey, can we meet as a team? Their kids here, our kids not here, our kids here, their kids not here. So we haven't got those meetings, but we are communicating between buildings. If we can get a family together and talk to them at one time, we'll do that. So it's a work in progress, but there's a lot of stuff with these kids and why they're not here. So we're just trying to be empathetic with them, trying to figure it out. And then why aren't they coming? That's the question we need to figure out and get them here and entice them to be here.
And I will say attendance in Oregon is bad statewide.
I was really impressed, honestly, by the 90%. That was.
And I swear I saw 35, 40 kids in Doug's office today. We call them empathy conversations. Like, what's going on? Why are you not here?
Yeah.
So
It's the best part of my job, to
Yeah.
connect with the kids. We talked about, Dusty talked about the connection. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So school-wide focus of planning right now, continued emphasis on student engagement, which we always bring up. but it looks different in every classroom. Improving state test scores is a giant focus this year for Jervis High School. We've had a big push at the elementary and the middle school level in the last couple of years. Now it's high school's turn. We only test at the junior level for the state test. So it's really, there's a lot of conversations in our side council and with staff about how do we push the needle at the high school level now. And that includes using data to inform our instruction. So stronger implementation of our professional learning communities, which is a huge thing that we're focusing on this year. You're going to hear that term a lot. So we've been to a few trainings so far. Right now we're at kind of establishing shared definitions of what a PLC is for teachers, because that can be a vague term, and then discussing and drafting collective agreements. The middle school and the high school have been partnering on that. So we're bringing middle school and high school are together for all of those professional development that we're doing. Classroom observations and instructional tools. So the administrators, Doug and Andrew, are conducting ongoing classroom observations, focusing on engagement indicators. We have purchased some rolling desks, not just for, Doug doesn't have one. He thinks they're cheesy. I think it's great. I have one and and I'll put my Bluetooth speaker on there and it's great. But it is very, very convenient for me to be out in the halls more and just kind of rolling around to keep an eye on things. A lot of teachers have them too. So about half the teachers have rolling desks and they're taking attendance at the door in the hallway as students are coming in class, which is cool. Do you move the thing? I can't read.
Formal observations are almost finished.
Okay, formal observations are almost done. Okay, we have flawed devices. That's that weird thing you're looking at right there. Creighton purchased those. They're AI analytic tools. So when we do a classroom, they're actually amazing.
Yes.
When you do a classroom observation, I was skeptic the first time I used it. I was like, this thing's not gonna work. And I clicked the button and I was able to walk around the room and not sit at my computer doing my observation for the teacher. And it recorded like everything students were saying, everything the teacher was saying, and the lesson plan and everything.
It broke down the math equations and the math observations. They actually had the equations in there and what they were working on.
And I showed that to the teacher, like it was a science classroom, my first one. And I said, hey, does this look accurate to you? And she's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. How'd you do that? And I'm like, it's AI. I don't know. But it's taking a lot of time off of our hands and also allowing us to interact with classrooms in a more,
It's really encouraging about this is when you get your printout, I print it out and I take it to the teacher and we have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
There's actually suggestions through each of the Danielson framework of like, hey, did you think about this? Or, this was a really proficient, but do this. So they're bought into it. I mean, 98% of them are bought into it. They like it. So yeah.
What's great is that it'll code the evidence into the Danielson framework for your administrators. Yeah. So then they're not having to go back, copy and paste and redo all of that. Wow. So
we can run it through other things like ChatGPT and it will tell you, you know what I mean? AI is just, it's going to go all over the place. But yeah, they're great. And I hate giving Dr. Helms credit for that. All right, student supports and interventions. We're pretty much almost finished with meeting at all of our at-risk freshmen and seniors. One of my big things tomorrow is to finish up that before we get to break. Student support team meets for every Friday. That's been the thing we've had for the last 3 or 4 years. Evening school has been great. POP is awesome. We're averaging about 15 to 20 students now. I mean, a month and a half ago, it was like 7. So, it's getting up there. And then I'm doing a kind of a personal thing working with Andrea and Laura, our counselors, to try to streamline the processes between both of them. Because primarily Andrea has been doing a lot of the college and career and academic counseling, and Laura's been doing a lot of the SEL. So we've had meetings already trying to support students equally. All right, so assessment and data. We completed our interim assessments. this is the first year we've done it.
Mhm.
Interim assessments for the state test to see where students are at. We have completed that for language arts, math, and science. So the PLC teams we were talking about will analyze that data along with the other formative assessment tools we have, Alex for math and StudySync for language arts, and actually look at all of that. And then on the bottom, teachers and staff also regularly from Oregon Data Suite. I know this is a lot of data. They've already been doing that process for the last year. They review attendance, current grades, credits earned, and academic history regularly to pick students that they want to meet with. So what we've been doing at the high school for the last year is I'll give them these packets and it'll be color coded by tiers. It'll be like red, green, orange, and blue. The red is obviously in the danger zone. The blue is, okay, this kid's doing great. And it'll be all those factors on the bottom. And then I've been asking teachers, pick 5 kids. Just pick 5. And I'll put a stack of 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and I'll say, just run with it. And they'll have to tell me what 5 kids they're going to have conferences with in the next couple of weeks and conversations they're going to have with those kids. So we're kind of taking that process we've already done, but also now using the other data points that we have with Alex StudySync and analysis for the academic piece of all that. So it's a lot of data, but we'll see how it goes. State report cards came out today. I'm highlighting the positives. On time, so don't look at the down arrows. Don't get freaked out about that. But on time graduation, we were down 3%, but we're still above the Oregon average. You can see there in the bottom. 5-year completion, we're down 6%, but we're still above the state average, substantially for the most part. And we are up 1% for college code. So there's some positives there.
Does that include also trade school?
I don't know the answer to that.
No, it doesn't. And so that's the problem that we have with the clearinghouse is that it only tracks kids that are going to 2- and 4-year university or colleges. And so we've been talking with the state is one of the accountability measures they're talking about implementing is the college going rate. And we're saying, okay, but we're not just about college, we're career ready, technical. And so we want to figure out how to track that as well. And again, like with your graduation rate, down 3%, that's like 1 kid, right? For us.
For us, yeah.
That's a small population.
And that 5-year completion, there were some tough kids that we pushed so hard to just finish. And POF was all over it. And it's, at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do for some of the high students. Good job. So. I wanted to give some shout outs to some of our awesome staff. We have really, really good staff right now at the high school. Jacob Lundeen, top left, former student of Tony and I's, new SPED teacher, and he is killing it. And he's really, really crossing his T's and dotting his I's when it comes to SPED stuff, which Creighton loves. The guy next to him in the hallway, that's PAWS program. He's been here before. You guys have met him. He's fantastic. Next to him is Mary Barknecht. She's ELD teacher, but also has taken on leadership and has done an amazing job. She's stressing herself out way too much because she is very passionate about leadership. Next to her is in the top right is Rachel Parker Lewis. She took over WACA, and I think you met with her the other day, Jane, or she was there. But and she's also the librarian for the middle school and the high school. Bottom left, Morgan Burns, new FFA teacher, is also burning herself out already because she's so passionate. But she's been doing great. And then bottom right is Michael Whalen, our new math teacher who came to us from Klamath Falls. He says he's only probably going to be here for a couple of years. He's great, high energy, very high energy guy. Is it going to work? We're going to see.
Oh, hey, there we go.
So if I were to film that a year ago, it would be crickets in the gym. Completely.
It was embarrassing.
It was really, really bad. And we were all pulling our teeth. Like Tony was saying, Spirit is coming back. And I attribute a lot of that to Mary. She's worked very hard, but Spirit is finally coming back. I was going to call Diego and be like, hey, can you come back? Because Diego was kind of our go-tos for Spirit, but it's nice to see. Homecoming Halloween events were well received. That was great. We had no issues. Like I said, Willamette Career Academy is now Rachel Parker Lewis Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, the kids did a great job explaining that.
Yep.
It's pretty exciting right now. So
I already talked about evening school. It's from 4 to 7, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then pre-ACT testing for sophomores is complete. I didn't hear any hiccups, so I think it went well.
Does everybody take that?
Yes. Well, they can opt out, but yeah,
Okay, so how many did you have that opted out?
I do not know that.
Not very many. I talked to Bonnie about it. There were not very many.
Yeah.
Good.
Site council is still meeting. We have to do a high school success eligibility. I mean, that's just, it's something we have to get done. We're still wanting some community service opportunities for students to get their community service hours. So if you guys know of anything, please just let me know. Leadership students over there on the right, they did the canned food drive, which was awesome. They're going to attend a workshop at Newburgh High School later this month, which is super cool. I go to it every year. I think our students struggle like seeing spirit and leadership in a big school. And so when they go to the 4As, 5As, 6As, they're like, holy cow, we got cheerleaders like greeting us at the door. This is crazy. And so I live right next door to the high school, and I went to it last year. I'm going to go again this year with Mary. It'll be the first time. It's awesome to see the Jervis kids see that at a big school. Already talked about this a little bit. Dusty did. The assembly I heard at the elementary school went fantastic. Marisol Valle is our new Agulus advisor. She took that over, so thank you, Marisol. Ag Science and FFA, they completed a floriculture unit where they made bouquets and delivered them to the Heartwood Place Memory Care Home in Wood.
Oh, very.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. She wanted me to share that with you. We had a Remembering America's Heroes event at the school, which we do every year. We used to call it Living History Day. It's something that so Bob Martin's back at the high school, right? He's teaching halftime. And we've been doing this event for the last 3 years, but it's never been done the way it was supposed to be done before COVID, where kids dress up and we do like a big day. And so I was like, Bob, you got this. And so Bob was like, absolutely. So it was awesome. We had, I don't know how many veterans, but I want to say 30 to 40 veterans came, when 3 years ago we had 5.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And then they spent time in the classrooms talking to the kids and had lunch with them and all that kind of stuff. It was a great day. Upcoming event, just some stuff. I mean, so I'm just going to point you guys to that. On the right, we do have a college and career website where it pretty much houses everything college and career visits, and they update the calendar and everything. So if you get a chance, check it out. They do a really good job with that. But we got a lot of stuff coming up for campus visits and field trips and workshops and visitors and that kind of thing. They did have a big college application month during November. Guadalupe Lopez is our substance use prevention counselor right now. And she tells me she's already been working with 17 high school kids and 2 middle school students. And she's great. She's really, really great. I mean, the kids are like seeking her out. Yeah.
She and Creighton wrote another grant, and we just found out that they received that grant. Did he say how much it was?
I just don't remember.
I don't remember the number either.
I talked to her.
Yeah, it's over $1,000. And the group that's giving the grant was so impressed with their application that they want to give us more money. And it's all centering around how we support kids with substance abuse issues in our community.
So it's really,
and mental health issues.
I mean, it's like 2 years ago, it would be like, okay, you're in trouble with Mr. Hammond because, you were vaping in the bathroom or whatever you do. Right. And now it's more like, okay, yeah, you're still going to be in trouble, but you're also going to be with Ms. Lopez. Yeah, it's great.
And they go through computer programs, like substance abuse programs. She's got, the kids are working, they're not just talking, they're actually doing some of their own work on their own too. I think that was it. That's it. Good job.
Does have any questions?
How are they receiving that prevention program with the,
What have we received?
like how are they
Access it?
yeah, well, not accessing, and how are they accepting it? Like with the, I know that they meet with you or
Yeah.
table, but then they meet with the
Right.
are they accepting it? Like the fact that, like, is it a drag for them or are they actually accepting it and actually?
I would say it's a process.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a couple young men I can think of where at first they were like, well, I don't know this lady, I don't want to talk to you.
Mhm.
But then eventually she would just continue to kind of, hey, in the hallway, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? I mean, they've all kind of eventually gotten there. I think we've developed a reputation now
Mhm.
to where Miss Lopez is cool.
Oh, that's good.
So the kids know, like, she's not out to get me.
And the way her office sets up, some of the kids that wouldn't go in the first time are now carrying
Yeah.
her. And she's like, they gotta stop that.
So she's
So
building that bridge and that
she's
relationship.
building those relationships
Awesome.
where they come and actually come and talk to her.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My group, videos.
Are you here to talk? Yeah, I was just like a brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I tell her about the hazelnut?
Oh, the ones that you're selling
Yeah.
for FFA?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Do you want to come out and talk? Is that okay?
I wanna
Very good.
Well, you could be here until like midnight.
Yeah. If you don't interrupt, you'll be here for a while.
Well, I'll already be studying because I have a test for tomorrow.
Yes, we want you to study.
Yeah. Sadly. It's because AP, I'm doing AP calculus, like, wow. You don't like, this is, no matter how much you study, you're in the woods. Like, you don't know what you're gonna get hit with.
You'll get out of the woods.
No, because like, I studied so hard last time, and like, I know it's, but it wasn't even it was not even like the whole test. I still had to do the next day, the other half. I was like, oh no. So the Jonas FFA is doing a hazelnut fundraiser, and like I'm an officer, so like we're all members, no matter if you're officer, you're all like selling hazelnuts. And the hazelnuts are like I knew like last year, they're 20, now they're 22. They got up the charge, and then the same flavors. It's the Marinberry, the stain, basically white chocolate, and then milk chocolate and dark chocolate. And I was here asking if any of you guys are interested.
Yes.
I already bought mine.
Oh,
Somebody else
have a
already.
form or What you
I
need
have
from
one
us?
because I actually left another form because we because I told my Burns, she's my advisor. I told her and I looked forgot. I gave her all my orders, so I did new one. This is the paper one. Okay. Yeah. If I have everything, I'll.
Do you want to just leave it there and then you can pick it up? or
We
do you
just
want-
pass it around. Is that what
Oh
you want?
Do you
yeah.
want to
If
do
you
it
want,
now? When do
Can
we
you
need
collect
to
as
do it
many
now? or-
right away?
yeah, before tomorrow morning. If you can just leave by tomorrow morning, send it to the office.
Why?
And like I can't get it in the
I
office.
already got mine. I have it.
It
Yeah.
was 22
Yeah.
right, this year.
Yeah, they went up
Oh,
the
yes,
charge.
you're up charging by $2.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so last year was 20. Yeah, yeah.
Typical. Which is funny because the girl that came to me, I'm like, I'm really surprised we haven't heard about this at the board meeting.
Yeah, I sent a message you ahead, fucking so they could know I'm expecting. I'm gonna be.
Did I well, if it's my one, I don't get this. So that is not checking out.
No, I'm so good because like especially when you're a senior, you have to check scholarship. You have to like know. You
Yeah.
don't want to be called like you're failing in class. No,
No.
like
No.
it scares me because like all I do wake up, sleep, practice, wake up, sleep, feed, scholarship, homework. It just that's all me.
You said.
It builds character.
There,
Yeah.
I can just drop off the money there at high school,
Yeah.
because all they have is 20, they have $8 bills, sorry. And you made it 22.
I know this year
So,
is
I have a prize.
yeah, and this
That's how
year
we get you.
I have no-
Yeah, exactly.
I have no five. I have never, but
503.
559-53.
But I am off tomorrow, so I can drop it off.
94.
Yeah, and this year they added prizes. Miss Byrne wanted to engage more of the fundraiser because a lot of the years we started like getting people like volunteers, but then they back out. So this year they put more prize. So for the first place you get state convention. Second place you get like a hoodie Jervis merch because we have never had like merch our own like club and FFA. So now you get free hoodie with your own last name.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and the Jervis FFA, the Avalanche. Yeah, and it's a good quality hoodie. And the third place is we love it. So we all are like, one person was like, I'm so excited, I'm third place right now. Because we also collide with the middle school because we're together with our FFA chapter. Yeah, they don't have any like official leadership role, but they are active members. And
So
also,
how do you not do better than third place? How do you just stay okay?
because he really wants that, she's a love that. She's like, I'm so glad I get to treat myself. Like, you're
So
right.
she has to give 85% of her effort.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, like all the members have been trying. Tomorrow we find out who has made the most.
Oh,
Yeah.
tomorrow's a big reveal.
Yeah, right now I'm suddenly at 20.
Oh.
Until.
So
That sounds
it's
pretty
it's
good.
just the one
Sounds
that
high.
we got last year had all different
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
just,
Yeah,
that's the only one we
round
have
yeah,
to choose from?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So do you think you're in the lead right now?
I think so, but then I'm like, it could be random because I was in the lead last year. I only lost 31 because my friend called her friend and she got 12. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
I was like, man, you got that contact, share that. Let me share. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good success. And we made a lot of money. We made like, I think 700.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
I think around 700, yeah. So this year, yeah. It's, yeah.
Well, it's up too, so you better make some.
Nice initiative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you had to get $2 in quarters.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna run after my basketball practice. That's why I'm all in shorts. Cause not in this winter, I'm not in this winter.
Well, good effort. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Have a good evening. Bye. Okay, here we go.
Got a nice pile here. There's a little more than what I usually bring, so I'm gonna get started on it. First of all, have you turned to page 42 for the all funds recap that I provided in your board packet? And so the 24-25 budget, so first I'm going to be talking about 24-25. We anticipated an ending fund balance, and this was anticipated with the building of the budget, not near the end of the year. We anticipated that it would be $1,133,000, which would be have been a 7.7 ending fund balance. We're currently at $1,397,511. And that actually equates to 9.6 ending fund balance when you look at our expenditures on the expenditure column. They could be an auditor adjustment, but normally it's a tax adjustment and it's pretty minimal when they do maybe a couple $1,000, something like that. So that's, would be the only change to that figure that I foresee coming. And when you look down, and then the charter balance here, that charter balance of $968,663, it reflects the transfers that were done in 24-25. And we'll talk more about that a little later when we get to that part, the turf field portion. And then down in the 200 funds, there were 5 funds that had negative balances. And on the bottom of page 43, I listed out what, the reasoning, not reasoning, but what, created that. I think the 2 biggest ones are the Fund 249, which is our seismic grant. It's a grant for $25,000. And they have been telling me to hold off and not claim it until we're done and put in the report. So that needs to be done this month, and we're trying to get the company that's working on the other seismic grant
to submit their billing so we can get them paid and get everything submitted to them. So that should be done by the end of this month. And then the other big one was our athletic fund, Fund 261, which was, $15,563 negative. And part of that was they had some uniform needs that were rather expensive. And then the state tournament trip was really expensive because how far did they go for that state tournament? It was a ways away. Now this one, the next trip they're doing is just in Cottage Grove, so that's a little bit better. There's not an overnight or anything like that, so that will be better. But we don't know what's going to happen next. We want them to do well, and we want them to go all the way. But they take on that negative balance at the start of the year with their budget. They have a plan. They feel like they don't need as much as far as uniforms. And, they're selling some signs, kind of promotional signs for companies. They have a plan for that to help earn some extra funds to go into that. Yeah. So they're working on it, anyway, and then the concessions kind of falls in the same department, but we had split that off so they could really see, that's Fund 288. So they could see, their ins and their outs. Before it was just kind of rolling into the athletic piece and they couldn't really, see that. And so she has bumped up her prices because of that. And this when she's running concessions, it's not a profit-making business for them. They buy the supplies and the groups that come in and run the concession stand get the proceeds in an apportionment to what the items cost. They'll get a certain amount back. So she hasn't changed that ratio, but she changed the prices that she's charging people. So anyway, those were the three I thought I'd point out. I don't know if you have any questions about this piece, the 24-25 ending balances. So next on page 39. So we now have the 24-25 ending fund balance has now been rolled into 25-26. And you can see that reflected here on the far right under other sources, that gray bar that was blank. I think in the prior meetings, there was nothing there. And now there's 2,321,261. And of that, 2,320,407 is the beginning fund balance portion. That's usually the biggest part that goes into that. For 25-26, we budgeted for a 7.5 ending fund balance of 1.131 million. So with the low projection of the ending fund balance on the October board meeting, which was 714,277, which only is 4.73 of a ending fund balance at that, at that figure. We did a really deep dive into our entire budget, and we're looking really carefully all the anticipated expenditures and revenue. We exported everything out of our accounting software to a pivot table, and we were working through line by line. And like with the general fund, that's 1,300 some lines of data. So we've just been looking really carefully at each thing, if it's going to happen, if it's not. And for example, like the SPED, we kind of have some pockets where we set funds in for different SPED accounts because we really never know, we can't always predict the needs of some of our incoming students and what they might require. And also we had a student, going to another high school and we were paying them, and that wasn't happening anymore. So we kind of shifted that and said, no, that's not going to happen. And with like we used to be called Oasis, it's now called Phoenix. It's a special school for some special ed students to go to. Those slots are between 72,000 and 102,000 for one student per year, depending on which one you get. So we had reserved 2 slots in our local service plan with the ESD, and we had one of the students not needing to go to that. So we don't just get the money back, we still own the slot unless somebody else comes along and needs a slot, and we can sell it to them. But what it tells me is the other, reserves funds that we have in the general fund for, in case we go over those 2 slots, aren't likely going to be needed. And hopefully we'll be able to either, if we have that need, we'll be able to fill it with somebody going to one of those slots, or we sell the slot and have that money come back in to us. So I'm just looking, that's just kind of an example of all the little pieces, just line by line by line that we were looking at. So anyway, after doing that, and we had help from Kyle Lear's, somebody that worked with him, Elaine, and she's like a Excel wizard. So she has this big massive, pivot table document that I just upload all our account lines into. So after that, just kind of going line by line, we were at 969,000, which is a 6.4% figure for the ending fund balance. And then if you turn to page 41, so this was running the same projection that we did, in on the October board meeting, which was just with the September data. But what's happened too is some of our payroll things get kind of cleaned up as well as we're going through. And, the only addition was there was a projection here at the top, on the top line for beginning fund balance of 44,500. You know how Midco is reimbursing us that 150,000, but the money that comes in, that is normally our expenditures for transportation are reimbursed at 70% from the state. So I had to check with the state on how, they wanted us to handle that, because we don't want to take those funds in and not report that we're getting back some of our transportation things that they have reimbursed. So they said they don't care about anything from all those prior years. They only care about last year, which is 24-25. So that 44,500 looks like about a third of what we're putting back, but it isn't, because we went through and figured out how much of it was reimbursable, how much was non-reimbursable. So effectively, ODE is going to take back about 17,000 of that 44. And so the rest of those funds, they come back to our pocket. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's crazy, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So anyway, so then after running that again, then this report, not being the only ad, we're at 1,038,000, which would be a 6.89% ending fund balance. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to watch both models so that, there's not a miscalculation. So one of them is kind of looking one way at it, and the other one looks another way. So this one looks, they go down like, 5 years of actuals, like what happened, in averaged out for these 5 years, and they kind of apply it to our model in that way. But we're looking at that, but then we also look at our other model, which takes, what have we budgeted? What have we spent? What have we encumbered? So the encumbrances are all within that other model too. So we take a look through all of that. Just because we want, if something seems off, we want more than one piece to be looking, not just, this one model. So.
okay, so when I look at this, the annual forecast versus the annual budget, which one is actually more realistic? When I'm looking at
the annual budget, the budget is what we created the budget at. So that's those budget numbers. The forecast is going to be kind of what looks like is going to happen. So when you see the ending fund balance, they're basing it off of the annual forecast.
okay, so when I'm seeing that, okay, so if I'm looking at the annual forecast, I'm looking at the ending fund balance of $1 million for next year at the end of
right
26.
Right.
And if you actually do the actual budget, you will actually have, even left. You won't have anything left. If I'm reading this right, correct?
No, see, what they're doing here is they take the budget is just the budgeted items, so it's not even really part of it that,
Okay, so
Yeah.
I should just, okay. So then if I'm looking at the annual forecast,
Mhm,
which is what I'm gonna do,
right,
and I'm looking at that ending fund balance, now all of a sudden, I'm definitely gonna be less than 6.9%. I'm gonna be like, what? It's significantly less than what we've had in prior years.
yes, it is less than we had in prior years.
But our goal is to have what, 8-9%?
Our goal is 8.3%, for what we're trying to get to. But that figure of the 1,138,000
Mhm.
is 6.89.
When was the last time that we had 8.3%?
I have no records of that, but we'd have to be going way back.
Yeah.
I might ask Melissa and see if
So
she
what
has-
was at our budget meeting in May? What was the contingency that we voted on?
You voted on an ending fund balance of 1.131 million.
Which is.
Because
7.8,
that's the 7.5.
7.5.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So that is the plan moving forward, so that, when we're setting this budget for next year, for 26-27, I would like to feel real confident with that ending balance for this year, because that's kind of was the problem for 25 for me.
Well, yeah, so I mean, at
Yeah.
our budget, meeting, that was people's biggest worry was our contingency.
Yeah.
And now we're below that. I guess for me, it's just really keeping an eye on this
Right.
because we are being scrutinized for every little detail.
Mhm.
And so a little flubber like this is big in it's big in general, but in their
Yeah.
eyes especially,
Yeah.
it's what are you doing?
Right.
And we already have enough questions from everything else, so
Mhm.
we can just really make sure we're looking at what we can be moving to make sure we get closer to the sevens.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I
the
agree.
exercise Karen and I did was, like she said, she printed off the 1,300 line items. And I took a highlighter and I said, what is this? What's this $2,500? What's this $25,000? Okay, this is a 25,000 they spent nothing. Is there a big bill coming due in December? Is there one in January? What? Why? And if it was a no, then I went ahead and cut back. We're going to do that same exercise up to the first of the year.
Mhm.
And I'm going to see who has spent what. If they haven't spent their money, I'm taking it. Done. Because if there's no reason why they could give me that I haven't spent this money, and let's say there's half of it still there, but we only have 4 months left, well, I'm going to take half of it. Like you clearly don't need all of this money.
100%.
So,
A lot of work sounds like.
It is. Okay. All right, so you have a turf, I call it the turf handout. It looks like this. I should have put turf handout on.
Oh, that one. I can't read.
So this is, you had gotten one in your board packet, but there's been, if you look on the first yellow line, right below it is what's been added. And so I think there were, when we did the turf field, there were some, unexpected things, I guess, that we didn't plan for, like the shot put, discus, and javelin areas, which went away, when we put the turf field in. So it's creating those, and then there were a couple more asked that, there's a basketball scoring table that's basically falling apart. And so that was added to it, and then maybe Dan, you can talk about community engagement.
So, remember when we approved the turf field, when we initially started talking about it, we didn't have the full, we had an estimate on the excavation cost, and that ended up being more. And then, the lighting, was a problem. And so, and then obviously we have to, I mean, we knew we were gonna have to do the throwing pits, but we had anticipated that it would have been covered in the first allocation, but with the other two things going over, it's not enough. Karen, in the lighting, is this the one that Scott Rose has put in the grant for to help offset
Yes,
the costs?
yeah.
So Scott Rose has put in a grant for us to get some energy savings
Mhm,
costs.
yes, the separate.
We don't know when
energy
we're gonna hear about that. We're assuming we'll get it, so you
Yeah.
could get that money and then in theory, put it back into Frontier Charter.
Right.
Is that, we could do that?
Yeah,
much
all
is
I
that?
would
How
do
much
is
is that,
is
right?
not transfer as
Right,
much,
yeah.
basically.
It's 90,
I felt like it was something, I don't
yeah,
wanna quote
several
on it.
thousand, several tens of thousands of dollars.
Any money found is good.
It is, and so we have that out there. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get that. So as Karen said, the basketball scoring table kept collapsing. It's really a hazard,
It's
and
been there for a
so
while.
it's either gonna come out of Frontier Charter money or your athletic fund. And if we're trying to protect the general fund, you should take it out of Frontier Charter. And then, so community engagement, Julie Powers asked me to come to the board with this. So remember last year you did put some money towards after school programming. We had grants to help pay for community engagement last year. We don't have that. So the community engagement things that she's talking about, I think put in my board report, things like a winter celebration. If the community progress team puts it together, we're not organizing it, but we're willing to help, buy some of the games or whatever. The skate night, which we did host and was a huge success. And then some of the attendance incentives in the spring, so to speak, for a total of $5,000. So if you approved all of that, and if the encumbrances come in, is that right? I mean, it's encumbered, but we're kind of thinking like with the lights, there's still 16,000 encumbered. We don't really know.
That should come in. That one
Okay.
should come in. The one that I think might not come in is Carlson testing, which is minimal.
So even if you spent all of that with all of your encumbrances, you're still going to have $445,813 in the Frontier Charter
At the end of this year.
at the end of this year. Yes.
Oh. What else do we use that money for?
Well, I mean, as a board, you had voted to not use that in the general fund.
Right.
And I would encourage you to continue to not do that because it provides other parties with the sense of, oh, we can just use that to try to meet our general needs.
But no, my point is why, this is the
It's
thing.
to use for things like
Yes,
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we put that money for, to help as much as we can. I see no issue.
Is that an action item later?
It is an action item.
Okay.
In the action
Okay.
section.
It's in the handout now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it.
So, the last item is excise tax.
Yes.
This is a recap on the excise tax.
And so, I don't know if you know where the excise tax comes from. So it's when someone puts in for a building permit here in town or in the county, and it has to be above a certain square footage or whatever it's doing. Part of the permit process is they get assessed a fee, and it's either collected by Marion County or by the city of Jervis, and then it gets sent to us, to the school district. The school district does not have to pay for excise tax, so none of the things that we're doing covers that. The excise tax was put into place to help local school districts because the idea is if you're building more things, you're going to increase your student population. If you're making improvements in buildings and apartments and things like that. So it was a way to kind of help offset school improvement costs.
So does this money end up in the general fund then?
No.
No.
So go ahead, Karen, if you want to talk about it.
Well, it's capital improvements is what it's supposed to be used for. So,
by statute, we couldn't use the excise tax to pay for a reading teacher. Right? It has to be capital.
capital improvements or equipment. Yeah, and so currently in our fund is $591,004. And we've just been working with the city on trying to figure out, if they still owe us money. And so they kind of sent us a spreadsheet showing, well, it was confusing spreadsheet with their titles, but it showed, what they had taken in that should have been charged an excise tax, what fees they charged because they get an admin fee from it, what fees should have been charged, what we should have gotten. And so they were showing that we had received from them like 291,000. And in their recap, but we only have received 219,000, looking back on the years that we are talking about. And it gets really muddy right in the middle where they've got all these, figures coming in kind of big that we didn't get that. So we're kind of saying, now we sent them our recap and they're saying, can you see what happened? Is there a check that never got cashed and never cleared the bank, because we didn't get it. So so that what we're showing based on their spreadsheet and my figuring of what they're trying to say with it is that minimally they still owe us $16,863. They didn't overpay us by, what was that? $70,000.
Their records show that they were.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I hope you're getting the excise tax from the townhouses behind us and every other little area that I've seen going up.
We haven't received any excise tax this year.
And how would we?
Is that public record? Like, how
That's
do we
exactly
know
what I was going to say. A
what's
little legwork on our end.
But isn't the report, you said the report showed what they charged, but they should have charged?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Because they titled them almost the same thing. And so you're kind of, okay, what? And I asked her, can you define what your headings are? Kind of saying the same thing. But there was one where it was like the funds that came in for excise tax, that they charge somebody for our excise tax. And they take their piece, and then this other one. And then there's two that are the same, which didn't make any sense. And then they have this little, how much it's off by, which.
So
it was kind of
when it gets all done, I am going to contact Marion County and ask for them to pull all of the permits that have happened within the city of Jervis in the last 5 years. So that means they compare.
That is very smart.
That's what everyone do. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have all their
They probably
records in line anyway at this point in time, so that would be a good double check.
Yep.
Okay.
It sucks that we spend money on this, though. It
And
really
time.
does. I mean, time, money,
Yeah.
time is money, so I mean. Oh, it's
But
just-
we also have to
Oh.
start like having expectations that have to be
Accountability?
met and be, like accountability.
But I mean, okay, so they say they paid us that extra, they overpaid us. Well, I mean, then they can show us the check numbers.
Yeah. And I think that's their next one. She said, okay, I'll dig into this.
But then how?
She,
you know
Danny
they
was saying
overpaid them?
about.
But that's the, I thought about that too. Numbers don't lie, I'm sorry. Okay.
They just had so much transition in that office that they really just don't know what's going on.
No.
And so,
One more thing,
Yeah,
we'll
it is what
work
it
through
is.
this.
Yeah. Move on.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No,
Thank
thank you,
All
Karen.
right. Thank you.
Okay, for my report, I gave you some extensive information about the 2.5% and 5% possible reductions at the state level and how that might possibly impact us. I mean, obviously, it's the revenue forecast came out yesterday, much better than anybody had anticipated. But while education has a stability fund or like the rainy day account that was set up for our component of the state agency, a lot of the other state agencies don't have anything like that. And so social services, things like the SNAP benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, anything human services related, they know they're going to take a big hit when the federal bill hits the books. So what we're trying to advocate for, and I had my first advocacy meeting with Representative with McIntyre this afternoon with COSA and OASBO and OSBA. What we're advocating for is, look, you've got this rainy day fund, you've got this education stability fund. Let's just please tap into it, because you trying to make a reduction in our budget at this moment in time
Right.
will throw everything out of whack, and it is so difficult because everything is wrapped up in staffing for us, right? And so you have a rainy day fund. Yes, it could get worse, but it's a little bit bad right now. Let's do it now, with the idea that all of us are working really hard to be mindful of what could be coming in the next biennium. We're well aware of the first cliff that's going to happen here in 18 months. We know what our collective bargaining agreements say about COLAs and raises and that kind of thing. And at the same time, you're expecting all of this additional accountability. So you need to give us time to plan. Representative McIntyre was very receptive to what we're asking for. So, I mean, there's literally like 15 meetings between now and mid-December. I've got 3 more on Monday. And I'm going into these meetings as the president of the Oregon Small Schools Association, as well as just a local superintendent. So I'll continue to keep you posted on that. I think because the revenue forecast keeps going like this, our message is, let's stop the hand wringing and the what ifing, and let's just stay grounded in what we can solve right now. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to give you, so you've got the excise tax update. We'll discuss some additional finance strategies in relation to bargaining when we go into executive session. Did anybody have any questions about my overall board report? I have an update on the food share. You know, we help the Marion County Food Share every Thursday. Usually we have between 20 and 30 families that show up to get their distributions, and today we hardly had anybody. And so we are working with Marion County to help deliver those boxes, but people are afraid to come to areas where they are congregating and where it could be identified as a location for ICE to come in, create issues for their families. We also are seeing a smattering of kids who are going to online, Frontier Charter online school, because their parents are afraid to send them to school. So families are kind of hunkering down, so to speak, in their areas. So
glad we have the talk.
yeah, I mean, it's great that we have Frontier Charter Academy, but it's also you know, pretty devastating for our kids and their families. So
Are we hit pretty hard on that, on those numbers of students?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't have exact numbers because we don't collect that data. But just based on what you hear, you know, kids talk and their families tell us things. So
Yeah. Not showing up for food.
Yeah.
Shows you something.
yeah, when they're not showing up for the food, there's never been a Thursday that place has been packed. There's no. Yeah. Okay, that's all I have for my report right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have anything in our board focus time they'd like to talk about?
Was the conference good?
Yes, I had found it very informative. I took a lot more than I expected back with the passing of the accountability with the school board, the accountability act that they pushed through. I could see that there was some school boards that were more stressed than others about it with accountability, and a lot of confusion on that one. I thought it was great only because of accountability. I didn't expect the OSBA to go that direction with accountability, if that makes sense. So the speaker, his name, we had we had Matt Lerman, great speaker. He goes around, speaks to all the school districts and with city council forced to help direct and how to advise to move forward and how to, get out of problems that they've encountered from conflict to conversation was his main title of his talk. So basically, of course, setting the tone instead of making judgment, asking them, well, tell me more instead of disagreeing. It's okay to disagree, but just, the takeaway from that. And also a lot of the getting personal, not personal, but getting that one-on-one on students as well was was one of the topics as well, that they were trying to not enforce, but educate,
Get the word out.
yeah, definitely. And that with the attendance and all of that. I met the OSBA, the president. Well, not the new one, the 2025. So Chris Cronin from John Day. So I got to meet her. I sat with her for a little bit before she had a speech, and I met with her secretary, and then they presented the new OSBA president this year as well. It was great getting to have our hot topics discussions that we did. Sat with the Marion County. Yep. Got to get their insight and the challenges that they're facing. It was kind of relieving to hear, and like I'm glad there's other people that have problems too. That makes me feel a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the camaraderie that came that, and it's just like everybody's just there to basically solve the same problem, and we're all there for the same reason. It was really heartfelt, and it was great. I think a lot of us had vent sessions of well, you go 5 steps ahead and then you get 10 steps back, and it's just like I met his name is Sammy. He's on the OSBA board. I believe he's in Albany, superintendent, facing the same problems that we have with annexing and Milan and stuff. Again, it was nice to hear that we're not the only city that has those problems. So yeah, met a lot of great people, a lot of good discussions, and I took a lot from that. I did not expect how much of it, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was a great experience.
Was there more first timers?
Yeah, there was quite a bit of first timers.
That's good.
There was, and again, that made me feel better.
Yeah.
It's like just a whole big group of a big room of adults trying to make friends. Awkward, getting kids out of that. Trying to make new friends. Well, try to be an adult and try to go out there talking, and do that networking and all of that. And hi, my name is. I'm from here. And yeah,
that's great.
Yep, that's good.
Good experience. Great.
All right. Do we have anything else? All right, moving on to our consent items. We have a motion?
Move that the Derby School District number 1 Board of Directors approve the consent items listed in map 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, and 7.5.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Great. Action items. Policy readings.
Starts on page 51 of your packet.
Is everybody good if we go ahead and move forward with those?
Everybody good? Good. Move that the Derby School District number 1 Board of Directors approve the changes to policies IGBAB/JO-AR and JOGBAB-AR as shown in action items 11/25/8.1.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Policy. There you go. Learning all those acronyms.
Acronym driver.
That is a different language.
Yeah, it is.
They don't let us do much anyway.
Okay, so now we're off to the OSBA Board of Directors candidates, position 11.
What was that gentleman's name?
You have two candidates, Satay and who gave testimony, and Karina for that position. And their dossiers are start on page 74.
I like the guy, I like the one that talked to us.
And reading his, I really appreciated that, there was a good focus on money also, since that seems to be a stem of all of our schools, funding for what needs to be done.
First time we had some. Was that to us? Huh? I don't remember.
No,
any of that.
we had one other one,
We did?
some other,
Yeah, we had good initiative.
yeah. All right, so the motion is on page 72.
Do we have a nominee? I know, do we have to choose one?
Yes.
That's fine.
So just call for a vote on who
all right.
would like to vote for Satay,
Okay.
and then who would like to vote for Karina.
Okay. Show of hands, who would like to vote for Satay? Okay, well, let's just go ahead and move. I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors nominate Satay for the OSBA Board of Directors position 11. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Perfect.
All right, and now we have for policy committee position.
You have, excuse me, you
Oh,
have
no,
position
12.
12 as well.
Oh,
That's
12.
on page 81.
Oh, and this one. Oh, there we go. Do we only have one?
You only have one candidate for that position,
Oh,
Okay.
that's easy then.
and that's Jose Alonso Alvarez Vasquez.
Motion?
Yep.
81.
I move Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors nominates Jose Alonso, you have to do a whole name, Alvarez Vasquez. For the OSPA Board of Directors position #12.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're moving on to number 11. And we only have
We
one.
really have to vote if there's only one.
I know, it's.
Sorry.
Well,
you could vote not to vote
I mean, it's like, they're gonna get it. I mean, there's only one. Sorry.
Wait.
Not trying to make.
This, was this one for
I
ballot
mean, I'm
forward?
like, yeah, I mean, no, the
Yes.
next
Yeah.
term, they're
Okay.
only, there. I mean.
We can choose not to vote.
You can, yeah, you
You
can
can
abstain.
abstain.
Mhm.
We can, I'm just,
It's just, it's not gonna matter.
yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors nominates Mel Fuller for OSBA Policy Committee for position 11 for the Marion region. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second. There we go.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I'm just glad there's people that want to do it.
Exactly.
Well, we have one.
12.
It's so hard.
Just one, right? Move that the Jervis, oh, sorry, I, okay.
Motion, yeah.
Move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors nominate Lisa Hamish for OSBA Policy Committee for position 12 for the Marion region.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
And us, as a school board, we are required to nominate people.
You know, as a school board, you could discuss among yourselves and say, we don't want to nominate anybody.
Oh,
Or
okay.
during the vote, you could either vote no, yes, or abstain.
Understood.
I have abstained before.
Okay, now we're on to layoffs and reduction in workforce.
So, I don't anticipate needing this authority for this school year. But, I put it in the board packet because at the time we didn't exactly know what the revenue forecast was gonna be yesterday. And if we have to do a reduction, I would be aiming for a semester. And if I do semester, I have to have so many days to notify people and follow the collective bargaining agreement. And so I'm still asking you to take action on this so that I have the ability to do whatever I might need to do.
I move, okay, are we cool?
Yep.
Okay. I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approve the layoff reduction in workforce during 2025 through 2026 as presented by Mrs. Stevens.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're down to the turf transfer,
Oh,
the front, I mean, I should say the frontier for the,
Yeah.
for the
I'm
extra
cool.
stuff.
Is
Yeah.
everybody cool with it? Okay. I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approves an increase to the allowable total transfer amount from the Frontier Charter School Fund for the turf project as shown in the board packet.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Aye. Me. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Discussion items.
So you have your bond update. I have provided you with a separate copy from your packet on what was presented at the Bond Advisory Committee meeting last Wednesday. It's just a recap of everything that's been done since the committee met the last time, which was in September. You already know all of this because you've been getting your monthly meetings. They included some of their budget issues, and I did share with them that we have $1 million in interest that we've kind of just been hanging on to, but I think that the board will probably have to take action to give it to the project. With everything the way it's coming in and the costs, we're going to be really tight. So I just want to give them that heads up in case you guys have to take action before you see them again, or before I see them again, which is not until January. I don't think that'll happen that quickly, but so where we're at right now with the projects is that the city just signed on Monday the agreement, and so the city was going to take it to their attorney tomorrow, which was kind of taking a long time. And so as soon as our attorney gets it, then he will file it. And but Marion County already knows that it's been done, an executed agreement. But now the problem is that we are waiting in no man's land for the permits review, for the permit review. So they're going to try to break out the permits into a section for utilities so that they can start digging utilities. And maybe that will get there faster. We offered to pay extra. We offered to fill out an expedited form. And the only way that we get moved up to the front of the line is if somebody is willing to take on extra work at that department. So, permits can take anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of months. Yeah. And so, I don't even
Do we know what the fee would be, for the penalized fee if we would continue without the permit? I know he advised not to.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, actually. I don't know what that would be.
I think it's the size of depending on the size of the building.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be a matter of whether our contractor's willing to do that. They've been kind of reluctant to do anything without permits right now. We have another meeting on December 10th. So, with the holiday and stuff, people aren't really working anyway. So we'll get to December 10th. My frustration with the city continues to expand, grow exponentially. So we still don't have the permits for the reader boards. the electronic reader board.
Oh.
And so I finally said on Friday, I said, I'm going to be able to build an entire new building in the same amount of time it's taken me to get 3 electronic reader board permits. The first email about those reader boards was March 17th.
Wow.
And as of November 14th, we were still trying to get them to figure out what they're doing. And so finally, Scott Rose chimed in and said, no, actually, City of Jervis, the way you're operating is completely atypical of any city or other agency we've ever had to deal with. You are creating barriers and delays that are more than problematic. They're going to cost people money.
Yeah.
And we need to sit down and figure out how to help you get this done. Part of the problem is that the city is unable to accept electronic plans. So because they can't accept anything electronically, you have to submit paper to them. And then once you submit it, whatever way you submit it to the city is the way it has to be submitted to the county.
Oh.
So if we give you a paper copy and you're the city, I can't then turn around and submit electronically to the county. And I have to have 3 copies for the county. And then they mark it up and they do all their things and then they send it back to the city, who then reviews it and then sends it back to our engineers and architects, who then have to turn around and resubmit paper copies. And so we're trying to we have a meeting on December 10th to see if we can't help them work out their process.
And this is
with the city and the county and our project manager.
And the reason they can't receive them electronically is it their software? Is it just ineptness?
The capacity or the software?
I have not been able to obtain an answer on that.
That is stupid.
So are there any guidelines as to like how quickly they need to be doing this and like us being able to get a response from them?
No.
There's no
So
guidelines
for
on that.
example, Holly, the city planner, had told our project manager that he would have everything he needed to have for the electronic signs by, I don't remember the exact date, September 1st or whatever it was. Okay, well, it was like 6 weeks later. He finally got it. And this is something that I have brought to the Council of Governments, the executive director, every single time. Like, your person is telling us that we'll be here tomorrow or next week, and it's weeks later with no response, with no communication.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm becoming concerned that we're not going to hit that August deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll make it
Which
work.
makes me think, like, is this intentional? Because what else are you approving? I mean,
And this is what, so Marion County obviously is involved as well, right? Like as you said.
So Marion County, so for instance, with the middle school permits, when the city submitted them to the county, they said, these are locked, you're not to review them, while we were trying to get all of this done with the sidewalk. And so we finished all of this. Well, a couple of times our architect reached out to Marion County and said, okay, but can you please? And they said, no, the city has told us that we cannot do this. So I got this information and I emailed Rick and I said, Rick, can you please unlock the permits? Our attorneys are talking. We both have executive sessions next week. Can you, I didn't do that. Like, Rick, please read below in the middle of the email where the county says the city locked it. If you didn't do it, you did it. No response. And it still didn't get unlocked.
Oh my word.
Is there any, I mean, like, what is the recourse for
Right.
this? This is insane.
Yeah.
I've included the mayor in every single correspondence that's starting to get
That's-
like, hey, this is delayed. Hey, this is not timely. What is your process? And there's nothing.
We don't have a
Is this
process.
something that would, so, and I wonder if this is conflict of interest with the school board, if, like, if we were to go to the city council meeting, and bring it up as a public, I mean, I live in Jervis. Is there any kind of conflict of interest of
No, because it's a public meeting and many of you can watch this recording and
Okay.
learn what's going on. And
And so like, if that was something that, you know, if I was there, I could be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, you could speak as a private citizen.
So is that something that would, I mean, open up that can of worms, poke the bear, you think?
I don't think anything that we say or do is gonna make a difference. I
No?
think that this is all intentional. I think this is all intentional. And, it's very disappointing. And I wish there was recourse for us because
Well,
It's
it's just
just-
frustrating because
this is
we're then
asinine.
behind, we're wasting money, and we're held accountable to the public, you know?
Exactly. Well, you know, it's about educating the public though, and letting them know that it isn't our fault what's
Mhm.
happening, and that it is the city council and the mayor and the city manager that need to be held. That they need to go have discussions with.
We've talked about the transparency from the last time where, you know, the way that the sidewalk deal happened and all of the pieces to that. I honestly think that we need to have those conversations out. Or at least some sort of mailer or something
Yeah.
where it's an update, right?
Mhm.
And you're saying, hey, you know, we're trying to reach this target. Here are the difficulties that we're encountering. It is out of our hands. You know, that kind of thing. It just at least having that transparency for our community, because our community is small and they are very curious as well. I get questions all the time, just like I did about the turf field or things like that. And so it's like, I personally think that would be a good idea for us to do.
Well, it's just us just doing our due diligence of, I mean, we're just humans, we're curious. And so our permits are currently, if we go into Marion County online, we can see where our status is right now.
Yeah, you should be able to see that. Yeah, it says in review right now.
Oh, so it's,
And
It's
it should-
unlocked,
and it
but
should-
it didn't
So
have,
it did at least that.
So now it's unlocked.
yeah, but he could have unlocked. When did we have our emergency meeting? That was
October,
19th or something?
yeah.
And did it just automatically get that way, or
No.
did you actually get a
He had-
response saying, I did, you know, it is
I
done, now
had
you
to
have
ask him
access?
to do it. I had to ask him to do it.
and then did you actually get a response from him to say,
That's
hey, I
right.
already did this?
I didn't.
You
do
did
it.
There,
not.
that's what I'm
Yes.
at, like,
No,
so there's no closing the loop on any of these things,
No.
is basically what
No.
I'm hearing on top of it.
Can you, if you were to reach out to the city and CC all of the architects, all of the people who are on the contractors, so CC them to make sure that everybody is on the same page as, in the circle of knowing exactly where we're at, have we corresponded like that way?
yeah, I
Yeah.
do every time.
Oh, perfect,
Mhm.
awesome.
And so does Sam, our engineer, and Rebecca.
So contractors
Architect.
know that this is not,
Yes,
okay.
yes, they're
But
fully aware.
I appreciated how you put this and framed it all in plain language so that it's super understandable, and I think that that's exactly what we need to do for our.
I was gonna wait until we actually got the signed document.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
100%.
And so as soon as and then I was gonna craft something and have it for your review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But,
sounds good.
and, the discussion was talked about at the bond update, for the community, about the monies going out to the city. So those folks all know that
And they're not happy.
we got extorted for this amount
Yeah.
of money.
You're not.
Yeah. I'm good. That's what I wanted to happen. And they'll
Yeah.
talk to their folks and
Yes, they will.
that's what we want. Yes. That's,
Was there, when you said not happy, was there anything
yeah.
that came from that?
I don't think there was outrage, but I think there was a lot of disappointment.
Yeah, I think that they.
I mean, that it's silly.
That it's,
it's a lot of money.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
lot of money that we could use for other things.
Yeah.
To help our kids and things like that. I mean, I want, anyway, but.
Yeah.
I think what's most frustrating about it is just there's no distinct actual answer.
No,
There's no valid reason.
no.
I mean, I'm still confused to why we need it. I haven't. If they're requiring that, well, can you please educate us to provide?
Yeah, how is it gonna help?
They keep saying it's a safety issue.
Can
However,
you-
however, a safety issue is that building. Like that they are still there. The owner is still getting rent from the previous person there because I know there's fiberglass and all kinds of stuff, and they don't even know. Personally, I feel like I need to go to the actual city to say something because
Which
like
report
that's-
shows that it's an issue.
I mean, the sidewalk isn't a safety issue. It's like, to
Yeah.
me, basically the whole fiber fab is.
No, I'm saying from the city.
Oh.
What report do they have that stating that sidewalk?
They don't have any.
They don't know. Yeah, that's the.
It's their
But
perception.
what they have is capability of holding up stuff.
Yep.
It's there. They hold the cards, so.
Yeah.
And I
That's
got you.
awesome.
Get in line. Get in line, please. All right.
So I have nothing else to update you on the bond. So you have some policy first readings. I wanted to talk about the CPA AR layoff and recall for administrators. So I just technically ARs don't require board approval, but I wanted you to be aware that this is something that we have the ability to do. And the policy or the AR, we have a policy, and so the AR is how would I implement the policy. And so we technically have one administrator who was a classroom teacher in the district before she became an administrator. And so if something were to happen, I need to have the ability to be able to carry out the policy.
Yeah.
So it's just a first, it's just a first exposure to it. So there's no action required tonight. And then the last thing is school board superintendent grant evaluation process. So we reached out to Kristen Miles, who is usually the person from OSBA that helps facilitate my evaluation. They charge $200 an hour plus travel to facilitate my evaluation. And so if you were to do the full survey, the electronic survey where you have people ask questions, you answer them, and then she writes it up and she coordinates with you, that's going to take about 6 hours total. So that'll be $1,200 about. If you want to just do it the other way, where I give you a self-reflection on the standards, you guys look at the standards, you have discussion, she helps coordinate a response. She thinks she can get that done in 2 hours.
That's
or 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah,
That's the
we
one I
have
focus on.
data upon data for
Yeah.
the years. We don't need all of that.
Nope.
At all.
Bring her in for a couple hours.
Yeah. So we'll bring her in. Probably we'll just have her zoom in. Well, Sandra and I have talked about the.
I think, yeah, I think one of the initial ones she does be a Zoom, but
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then so that's all I have for regular and
Okay.
you can call us an executive session.
we're gonna, into executive session, the Juris School District #1